Haven't done a video in a while. Again, getting lazy. But it's time to put this top end back together. I already washed, after I bored the cylinder, I washed it out in boiling hot water and soap, dish soap. It's been sitting for a few weeks now. So I'm going to do it again. Scrub it out one more time. And I got to paint these cylinders, so I want to get them nice and hot. And you got to really clean out the cylinder sleeves. The fine grit's going to be right in there. My knees. And then I think I'm going to wipe them out again with lacquer thinner, brake cleaner or something at the very end. And after I paint it, I'll put a coat of oil on it again one more time. Watch my ring doesn't catch it. Really want to make sure these cylinders are clean. So this is the second time, and then I'll do it a third time with brake cleaner. And you want them clean to be painted too. So. Slush it in and out. And a clean piece of cardboard to put it on. Would have been a good idea. There's a couple things I wanted to. I always miss stuff. I look over my videos again, and I always forget to say stuff. You know. And I'm not real good at editing and adding the stuff in later. So if you watch all my videos, you'll catch some of the mistakes I made, I guess. But I'm in Canada here, and it gets pretty cold in the wintertime. So these cylinders are no good. I don't heat my garage 24/7. I'll keep it on low, so that way I can't keep my micrometers in this garage. I keep them down in my basement in my office there, which is like 78 degrees. It's pretty hot. So when I measured those pistons, my pistons were ice cold that day. It was almost freezing in my garage, and my micrometers were about 78 degrees. Keep them warm, dry in there so they don't get any surface rust on them. And I think that's why I was out on my measurements a little bit. Maybe not that much. But those pistons are worn. They're worn at least a thou, maybe a thou and a half, and maybe with the measurements, maybe 2 thou out. Maybe even 2 thou out in measurements. So, let me explain that. So I got new rings, old pistons, a new bore to match the new pistons, which are about 2 thou under the stock bore. If I bought brand new Heplite pistons, I'm going to throw them in the hot water too here, and degrease them. If I bought new Heplite pistons, I probably would have bored this to that standard bore. It would have been very close to it. But here's the one thing I want to explain why I had to take so much off those rings, the ring end gaps, is for every 1 thou of bore equals about 3 thou of end gap. So I made my bore about 2 thou less than a standard, a thou and a half to 2 thou than a standard bore. So that's why I had to take off like 6 thou off my oil ring. Like if I put new pistons in, I probably wouldn't have had to take anything off those oil rings. But I'm reusing my old pistons. Saved myself 180 bucks. That's why I did that. Need some air. Nice and dry. I'm going to tape off all the top here. I'll cut it off when I'm done. I'll show you when I'm done. Yeah, put that on there. Really hard for me to get motivated here lately. Really hard time to get motivated working on this bike. I've been kind of sick for about 2 weeks too with this cold. Can't shake it. Hurt my hockey game. You know, as I think a lot of people that were watching me maybe grind those, I can't even think, piston rings, that they didn't do that on theirs. Well, if you're boring it to a standard bore, or you're just re-ringing your bike, you probably wouldn't have to do that. But like I say, I bored this thing 2 thou smaller than a standard bore, so for you I wouldn't worry about it. I think a couple of you were worried about that. And that's what happened there. I like to get this, I'm going to heat this cylinder up with my heat gun a little bit too. I want it nice and hot. I'm going to heat the paint up. I got the paint sitting over on the furnace right now. I want everything nice and hot so it dries pretty quickly. I want to get some oil back on these cylinders as quick as possible so I don't get any surface rust. It's kind of another reason why too I didn't put this back together, because I knew I was going to be painting these. It all takes time. But boy, I get lots of good comments there and help from everybody. Gary Sager there, he did that video index, and we're going to try to put a link to a website so you don't have to scan through that video every time. I don't have a website, something I got to do one of these days, I guess. Just so if you're looking at taking apart something on your bike or your transmission, you can kind of maybe look to see how I did it or how not to do it. Depending on how you look at it. Yeah, I'll take this side up now. Can't put the top end together until I get the cylinder done. I heated this up with my heat gun. Heated the paint up. This is the VHT engine enamel, high temperature. Stuff works really good. Do a couple coats. And what I like to do is put it's not broken, I hope. I'll put this on it. Make sure it's going to work. Yeah. Put a heat lamp on it. Tacky. Dries pretty quick when you got it heated. I'll give that a few minutes. I gotta flip it over. Do it a couple times. It's got a heat lamp on it. Let it bake in there for a while. And I'll flip it over, do another coat on the top side. But yeah, I'm gonna go black this time. Black's not original for 1969-70, but it looks a lot better. So I'm going with looks. Okay. When I get that done, I'll be able to put her back on. Heating the pistons up so I can slide the pins right in. And I've got the pins outside. I think it's, I don't know, around 40 degrees outside, I think, 37, 40. So they're nice and cold. I already put the circlips in on the inside of each piston, so I can slide the pins in from the outside. So let me put this camera on the stand, and I gotta do this pretty quickly. They're nice and hot. Oh, turn this radio down. Okay, let's try her. Got the piston seated up. Make sure I got the right one, left hand. Okay. This goes on here. Left hand there. Got this pins right out of the freezer. Come on, get in there quick. Right in like that. Perfect. As long as I didn't put it in backwards, looks like I got it right. It's pushed all the way in. I put the pins in the freezer. Yeah, exhaust intake there. Okay, let's try the other one. I think I need my other glove to do with the left hand. Put the circlips back in. I need light. It's so hard to work without proper lighting. So these circlips are stamped out, eh? So the one side's rounded, the other side's sharp. You want the sharp side out. And snapped in there. Yep. One time I was putting new pistons in. I think it was a snow machine, a snowmobile, and we boarded over and had the new pistons. And I'm not sure if they were. There was two pistons we used, Wiseco and I think it was Kempco snowmobile pistons. Pretty sure that's the company. And put the new pistons on, put the pins in, and then put the clips in. And there was a groove in there for the clips, and you know, I was pretty new at the game back then, and I put the clips in that groove and everything, and then we ran the snow machine, and it popped the clip off, and took it apart, and sure enough it scored the cylinder again. And we took the pistons out, and me and the I was just an apprentice then, the journeyman mechanic, we started looking at the pistons. And the grooves in the pistons weren't fully machined. They were like half in there, but not fully in. And we called the company, everything. They warranted that and everything, and give us a new piston, but they wouldn't warranty the labor, obviously. But I don't know. I just you almost got to check everything. You know, the groove was there, but it was only half machined in. And you know, at a quick look, you would never catch that. Okay, so I got pistons on, they're all cleaned. Gonna put the rings on, base gasket on, and see if I can get those cylinders on. When I adjusted all these rings, I put them immediately into a pack marked right and left. And because you can't interchange these rings now, they're all different sizes. So these oil rings come with a spacer in there, and I think what I did the last time here is just take that spacer out, put the spacer on first. Kind of push it back together. This one here. the markings on this. Yeah, I'm looking for a top or bottom on this ring, and I don't see one. Sometimes you can look at the profile and see if there's a difference on the ring. I don't see any difference. No. There's no markings on that oil ring for top or bottom. So I'll just put it on. Okay. The second ring is marked top. Yeah, that's top. I always support the ring at the back with my fingers as I expand it at the front. Just slowly put it down into there. Top ring's got that little symbol on it, marking top. Like that. The hot side's the exhaust at the front, so you want your spacing at the back. I'm going to put it I'm going to put the first ring to the outside. That's going to be the coolest part. About here. Put the second ring over here. First ring over there, second ring over here. No, vice versa, like that. And the oil ring can go at the front, center. Keep them roughly lined up. Okay. Okay, we're getting ready to put the cylinder on. This is what I'm using for a piston ring compressor. It's a stainless steel hose clamp, but it's not the worm type. It's 4 high compression hose, and it's 3-inch. So that's what I'm going to use. I coat this with oil a little bit. A lot of the ring compressors are too tall. Once you get them in there, you can't get them out. I think this will work fine. I used to use hose clamps and then put a piece of sheet metal or stainless in the inside, or aluminum or pop can, and that worked just fine. If you don't want to spend $100 on 2 new ones. Okay, put this one got the spacing in here. Front. I didn't show this in the first videos either, because I had a hell of a time. I just did it with my fingers. That was hard, but it was a lot easier to do it on the bench. Just set this up near the top. You don't crank these right down tight. You want to be able to make sure it still moves. Just want to slowly compress those rings. Still turns, still moves. I think these clamps are good for 2.8 to 3 inches. I think that's going to be good right about there. Check this one again. A little bit more. Okay. Okay, let me get set up here. Okay, let's try it. Live. I got a coating of oil on the pistons and then on the cylinder. Got the bottom gasket gooped on there, and then on the bottom of the cylinder I got a silicone-based gasket goop on there. You know, you can probably get away with no gasket sealer on it at all, or what a lot of people do here is they dip it in oil, let the gasket saturate with oil and expand, wipe the oil off and use it like that. But I always like a little bit of gasket goop, just that much less chance of it leaking. Got the lifter blocks back in, got them all wired up. And let's see what's gonna happen here. 2 hockey sticks underneath. Gotta have hockey sticks. Try finding that over there. Fucking ring came out already. Hold still. I should have had this clamp tighter. There we go.
Not going quite as planned, but it's a lot easier that way. A lot easier with two people. I'm thinking I should have had this front one tightened up more. Get you out of the way. Should have had this clamp tighter. Didn't have it tight enough. Looks like it's going. Careful. Should go on easier than that. It's right there. Let me screw with that for a minute. Got it. It's that oil ring again that was giving me problems. Oh, it's just a prick to get in there.
being a much tighter fit this time. A lot more difficult than in that bigger bore cylinder. Wow, that was tight. I had to reset the clamps like 2 or 3 times, kept popping off. And that was tight. Just when I go so careful, I don't want to break a ring at this point. Man, I have to order that all the way in from England if I did. Yeah, if you had the proper ring compressors, I don't know, those oil rings are a pain. There's something not quite right with those oil rings. I like the original 3-piece oil ring with the spacer and the top and bottom. You can't screw those things up. But these 1-piece ones, they're brittle. There, let's get the hockey sticks out of there. I gotta start some of these nuts before I can clamp that down. Pretty sure these are all the base ones. Well, turn the radio down. Have that radio on at all. They hear it. It's copyright infringement. Put the washers in first. Don't forget to put the washers in first. Alright, I'll get these all in there and get back to you. Well, she's all torqued back down again. I think it's video 36 or 37 of the Norton Commando rebuild that shows you how I torque that with the 6-inch extension on my torque wrench. But there she is. We have more compression now than I had before, and before was pretty good. So Hardest part, getting those push rods in and getting that head back on. That's next. Okay, I'm gonna try to put this head back on. I had a hell of a time getting it off. I was tilting it sideways to get it off, and reading further, you're supposed to tilt the head back and hold those push rods up in there. I've got it just sitting there loosely now. Let's give it a try. I'll have to readjust all the... Maybe if I turn it over, I'll get one of them going down. I don't know. Come on. Okay. Try putting it in like this. They wrap plastic bands around to hold it in place until you get it in there, but I'm just gonna try to put it in there. Tip it in from the back. Fuck, I missed one. Missed one. Oh no, I'm going to be caught between a rock and a hard place. Oh, there we go. Okay. There's my 2x4 trick or something there. Two by three. Let's see here. One push rod stuck is what the problem is. This one. There. That one push rod was hung up. There. A lot easier with two people. Come on. There we go. Oh my God. Just gotta wiggle those push rods around a little bit till they drop in. Oh my God. That's it. Now I just gotta get them located. But they're there. Okay, let me screw around with that. Oh, I lost a video there somewhere. Had the crazy dog out here running around attacking me. I thought I had that all on video, but I lost it. Anyways, I got it all the bolts back in. They're all snugged up. They're not torqued in yet. And I had to scrape all these gaskets off. I'll have to make some new gaskets or order some new ones and start buttoning her up. But yeah, I like the looks of the black sound over the silver. It's not period correct for that year, but it's gonna look good. The black and silver and the black and silver covers and like I say, I'm gonna do a whole set in black, and then I've got my green ones up there that I'll try to do a green set as well too. But I think that's it for today. I think that's the top end back together. Just a matter of buttoning up the carbs, air breather, and oil lines, and putting it all back together, and we'll fire it up. Hopefully this week sometime. Okay, guys, that's it for tonight. Thanks for all the help from everybody. Everybody's emailed not everybody, but a lot of people email me comments there and helpful hints, and it's appreciated. And I'm still looking for another frame and motor so I can start building a little bob or a cafe Norton. I got some really cool ideas. I'd really like to build my own Springer front end or girder front end. I got some ideas for that. I have to see if I got time to do all this, but I want to make a template out of plywood, out of wood first, how I'm going to build it. And it's going to be quite a bit different than anything I've ever seen out there. Okay, that's it for tonight. Thanks.